Hey, this is Casey Schofield from the Howdy There Folks podcast. I want to give a special thank you and shout out to Jeremiah Craig, who was kind enough to sit down with me to have this interview. I will put a link to his YouTube channel down below. Jeremiah, it was an absolute pleasure, my friend, and like I said, man, you call me anytime. If you feel like doing another podcast, you just want to sit down and bullshit, my friend, you are welcome anytime. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Oh, howdy there, folks! You drove back
Hey, what's up? This is Casey on the Howdy There Folks podcast. Again, I want to give a special thank you and shout out to Jeremiah Craig for being kind enough to come on and have this sit-down chat, man. As I said before, I'm going to leave a link to his YouTube channel and his content down below. Had a couple of technical difficulties, but we worked around that. That's all right. It happens. I have been looking forward to this for a long time. I cannot tell you how excited I was to sit down with the man, Brother Jeremiah, and have a conversation, man. And conversate we did. I tell you what, I'm excited. So let's do it. The Howdy There Folks podcast with your old pal Casey, featuring Jeremiah Craig.
Hello, how's it going?
Yeah, damn Jeremiah Craig. How you doing, brother?
Good. Thank you for inviting me on here.
Hey, man, it is my absolute pleasure, man. I started watching you last year, right around the time I started doing the hat thing, and I was like, man, I got to talk to that dude, man. And I just figured, well, he loves boots, I love boots. Shit, I mean, I grew up with him, so it's like, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Is that one of the hats that you made that you're wearing right now?
No, this is actually a George Strait edition. This is a Resistol. The hats that I made, actually, let me show them to you here. We got quite the collection here. So this right here is the hat wall.
Nice.
This one right here, I made this one.
Whoa.
That's my first one. That's European hair. And let's see, that one I bought. This one I bought. I fixed this one recently. And then this one cost me like $50 at some knockoff Western store.
That's a great color, the ones you made.
Yeah. I like that light gray. I think they call it silver belly. Or silver mist or something like that. And then over here on this wall over here, this is a tribute to my old buddy Greg. This is us right here. And this hat up here, I made this one too.
Wow.
I made that one in honor of his memory. He passed away in June last year, and he always wore one of those. He had the rose red glasses and the flat top fedora. And, yeah, I mean, he was an old biker dude, tattoos up and down his arms and shit. Great guy, man, great guy. And he gave me a pair of elk hide Tony Llamas, light tan color. Of course, they're probably black now because nobody told me what color they were, and I put fucking black shoe polish on them.
Wow. That's funny.
Yeah. Nick Ryan, he's a good buddy of mine. I really like Nick. He helps me out whenever I go boot shopping on eBay because, man, I got fucked bad out of those lizard skin Tony Llamas, dude. They got big old cracks in the toe box and everything, and it's just, it's so pissed.
I hate when that happens. Yeah, that's Nick's a good dude with Lone Star boot reviews.
I really like Nick a lot, man. I really do. He and I become pretty good friends, man. I actually. Sorry?
I said, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually got 2 pairs of those JW insoles, those real thin leather ones. Mm-hmm. And I'm wearing one pair in my Tony Llamas right now. And then the other pair I got in my full quill Justins. Mm-hmm. And they fit great because, I mean, I tried different ones. I tried the Ariats, and they were just too thick. You know, they took up too much room.
Yeah.
And I tried, you know, Shoals and that, but just didn't feel right. So I went and tried those leather ones, and I'm like, well, you know, these have got to work if nothing else. And
yeah, sometimes that's all you need is just a little thin piece of leather and cork in there.
yeah, just enough. Just enough. Like, it doesn't have to be too thick, can't be too thin, just enough.
Exactly.
And, man, I'll tell you what, I didn't know how I felt about this square toe thing at first. Because I'm a traditionalist. I grew up, you know, cowboy country. My dad was a bull rider. So I grew up with, you know, medium round toe cowboy boots. You know, that was what you wore, you know, if you wore boots. And then I seen these square toes. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because it just looked weird. And then I tried them on, and I'm like, that is wonderful. It's because I got flat feet. Like, my feet have no arches whatsoever. I got flat, narrow feet. And so it works perfect, man. It does.
Yeah, especially for the folks with narrow feet out there, with there being so few actually narrow widths, it works really well with square toes to be able to size down so that you can actually find a width that fits, but it not cramping your toes, which is problem when you have like the medium round toe instead of medium round toe with an average width rather than a medium round toe with, you know, the narrow width.
Yeah,
some pinch at the toes, but with the square toes you don't get that, which is a nice cheat. Unfortunately, that's a cheat that we've had to do. I wish more manufacturers would make the narrow widths, but as of right now, that's what the square toes are good for sure. I'm not a fan of how they look as far as the round toe compared, but, you know, they are comfortable if they're only going to make one or two widths.
I'm not a fan of the pointy toe. You know what I mean? That like real pointy, stick it up your ass kind of thing. I don't know. It just kind of looks like a high heel shoe. Hold on, man. I know what I'm missing. Where's my damn coffee? Hold on, brother. Damn it. That is the third time. I know. That was the third time I dropped this damn recorder, too.
I dropped my recorder the other day while I was recording a video. And I just had to rely on the camera audio, which isn't good. Yeah, I'm an audio geek kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. My thing is editing and producing audio, and I use Gold Wave myself, but I've been wanting to get into Pro Tools and Reaper and stuff like that.
Sorry about that. I lost you for a second. I was switching over to a different mic.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, I've used Gold Wave to edit and produce my audio, but I've been wanting to get into like Pro Tools and Reaper and stuff like that because it's a multi-track thing. But I've never really seen a multi-track setup, so I'm not quite sure how that all works out. And plus, you know, there's there's always, of course, the question of like, is it going to be accessible with a screen reader? You know, like that's our biggest issue with pretty much anything, because anytime like Facebook updates or, you know, Twitter or whatever it may be, we as blind people always have to ask ourselves, okay, what are they going to break now?
Yeah.
Because you can only do so much with a screen reader. I mean, like, I'm not saying we're helpless at it. I mean, of course we're not. I mean, fuck, you know, it describes pictures now, but, you know, it's much different than it was in the early 90s, that's for damn sure, but...
No doubt.
You know, there's still only so much you can do with a screen reader, and it's like, man, like, this is working just fine. Can you guys just leave it alone? I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's tough. Facebook just updated again today. Like, they're always updating. Logic, does Logic have a screen reader? I use Logic all the time. I love it.
I've never used it. I don't know, honestly. I sold my MacBook about 3 years ago, and I know that on the Mac, the blind people that I've spoken to on the Mac, I think they use, I forget the name of the program. What is it? Audio Source or something? I don't know. I'm butchering it. I'm going to remember it later when I'm not thinking about it.
Isn't that the way it always works?
Yes, God. Like, I'll be talking. I'll be talking, and then I'll forget what I'm talking about. And then 2 or 3 days later, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was, and then I'd text my buddy, and he said, what the hell are you talking about? And then we just go around in a circle, and I'm just like, fuck this.
Yeah, I know how that is.
I've been really wanting to talk to you for a while, man. I'm super excited, man, that we're doing this. I went back through your channel about 2 weeks ago, and I mean, to the very first video.
Nice.
And I
2010
think,
or 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2010, I want to say. And I noticed, up until 2016, it was all music, and then all of a sudden, it just switched to cowboy boots. Have you always been into cowboy boots, or is this a recent thing, or what is it?
Yeah, I've always been into it since before I even started on YouTube. I got my first pair around 2006, 2007, and then started getting into YouTube when I was in college, trying to share my music a little bit more, especially when I released my first solo album. And then I wanted to, share my travels on tour and things like that, just sort of do stuff to get out there, what they tell you to do as a musician. Release as much content as possible. It wasn't working, though. So with my background in marketing and stuff, I tried to figure out a different way to get my music in front of people. And I started doing some keyword research, on Google, on Answer the Public, things that I was interested in. I wanted to see what I could cover and then sort of tack on my music at the end, and get people maybe interested. I know that I'm not going to get everybody, right? But the fact that I wanted to just get in front of more people. So I searched, I kind of like comic books. I looked things like that. I kind of like wine with my wife. We drink wine every so often, and I play a lot of wineries. And then I looked at cowboy boots because I had 4 pairs of cowboy boots that I wore as much as possible. And then it sort of hit, like lightning struck. And I saw that there was a lot of interest in cowboy boots, but there wasn't very much content about them. So there was this gap where more people were searching for cowboy boots and content around it than what was available. So I started testing the waters a little bit and releasing videos about cowboy boots, because I would always go shopping with my buddies and stuff like that and help them at Davis Trailer World, like Mrs. Davis. I was there so frequently that she sort of took me under her wing a little bit and being like, how does this cowboy boot fit your friend? And I was like, well, it looks a little sloppy. Maybe they go down a size. And then she would be like, yeah, that's definitely what I would say too. So she was a real help in my understanding of cowboy boots.
Isn't that great?
Like that. Yeah, it was so great.
When you go somewhere so often and then they just know you by first name, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, I got my niche there, and then it just clicks. It's like cowboy boots. It's like, that's it. There it is, right there.
Yep.
I love it. I love it because around the time I was starting to get into hat making, because I'd always loved hats and boots. I'd had them ever since I was a kid, but I started to kind of, because I'm an artist, dude, and I've always wanted to kind of think outside the box, and yeah, definitely, and I'm not a musician. I've never been a musician. I've been more on the recording and the writing side. See, because when I started, and I mean, I'm only 31. I just turned 31 on the 25th. I recorded and wrote my first audio series when I was 9.
Wow. What was it about?
Okay, so here's the thing. So I got to backtrack a little. So when I was a little kid, right, you know, when you grow up blind, you grow up a little different. And when I was a little kid, I had, like, I would do these voices, and I had these, like, different imaginary characters. Mm-hmm. You know, Chris, Ken, Dan, all these guys. You know, like evil Casey, and then the, you know, like, yeah. I mean, it sounds crazy, but check it out. So by the time I was 9, I discovered that my cassette tape radio thing, they called them boom boxes back then, kids. Cassette boom boxes. I discovered that it could record. And I'm like, oh, this is badass. And I had a tape, and I started kind of, you know, experimenting with it. And then I thought, you know, I could take these characters and I could make a story out of it. And I called it Chris and Dan. And it was about these two guys, and they were best friends, and they lived in this big house together, right? Mm-hmm. And there was Ken, there was me, but then, like, it started to get kind of sci-fi, you know what I mean? It was kind of a cross between sci-fi, Lord of the Rings, Mortal Kombat, like all that, you know, because I loved that shit.
Nice.
I love that. Like, I am the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. I love Mortal Kombat.
That's so cool.
Fuck yeah, I love Mortal Kombat. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Harry Potter. And I kind of took all that and just rolled it all up into one big ball. And from 1999 to 2006, stretched across 21 cassettes, was the entire series. And in 2003, I remember my 8th grade English teacher, Mrs. Kramer, she asked me, she goes, I need you to write me an essay. And I said, okay, what's it about? She goes, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Well, I was already, like, right the fuck in the middle of creating this audio drama, you know, so I'm just like, I'll just put pen to paper. And I wrote a full 30-chapter novel about it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And, like, I love wrestling. I've always loved wrestling. And I started, you know, I'm sure you know about it. You know, WOW, right? Mm-hmm. You see it all over Twitter. Well, my buddies and I, we started it in the early 2000s, late 90s. And it was just a couple of blind kids, a couple of cassette decks, you know, because that was all there was back then, you know. They did have digital technology, obviously, but, I mean, it was expensive, and it wasn't really very accessible, and, you know, nothing was what it is now. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that was what we had. But we saved as much of it as we could. I mean, just my stuff alone, you know, and I'm not the only league out there. There's a whole bunch of them, but just my stuff alone from 2000 to 2009, this is before the digital transition, this is before we took our product digital, stretched across 130 cassettes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah, because I just, like, I love to write and I love to create. I mean, I wrote my own comic, for God's sake. I never published any of this shit. I don't know why I didn't, but I love it. And then I wrote this audio drama that got really popular in the blind community. It's called Jaws for Windows is a Murderer. It was this crime story. It was about this crime family. And the leader of this family, his name was Reed, he was a demonically possessed, you know, like gang leader psychopath. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? And he had stalked this guy, Alex, and he had, like, you know, hurt him real bad, killed all his friends. And this is kind of like a combination of, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Mortal Kombat, you know, meets like a romance novel type shit. Nice. Like, I mean, it was a 6-part series, and that series, the last part came out about 5 years ago. But here's the thing that made it different, is it was written all with computer voices. You know, there was no human actors. It was an audio drama.
Wow.
And it went all over the world. And to be honest with you, I was just a pot smoker who got bored and decided to write a story. Like I never wanted any of my shit to get, like, famous or anything, but people loved it. And, like, still to this day, like, I'll get messages and they'll say, "Hi, I'm so and so from Taiwan or Thailand, and I just heard your audio drama," and I'm like, "No way, dude! Fuck."
That is so cool. That's special.
Yeah, man. I just but I haven't yet found that big break. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still just as broke as I ever was. Still on Social Security. Haven't found that big break yet. And if I never do, that's fine. That's totally fine. Because I'm enjoying the experience, man. And I'm sure that's how it is as a musician too. It's like you got to enjoy the experience. I mean, isn't that pretty much how it is?
Yeah, it's the process. It's just like you're saying. You are affecting people's lives. People's lives are better because of your art.
Absolutely.
And that is why we do it, right?
It's
the main driving force to creating in the first place, right? It's not, if we wanted to be rich, we would go do something else. Like, I'm not rich. I'm far from rich. I made the most money that I've ever made last year, and it was still the equivalent of working minimum wage for 40 hours a week. And I was over the moon about it because it's the most that I've ever made.
Yeah. Dude, and I'm still trying to get a damn job. I have fought for over 4 years to try to get one job. One job. And I still don't have it. One. Dude, one. And I have gone through voc rehab, through the state of Utah, and just still, and the pandemic has not fucking helped.
I can imagine, yeah.
I went through my years of, getting high, partying, whatever, okay, But then I decided, it's time to kick it in the butt, get going. And then right around that time, I lost my eye. And, because I had a degenerative eye disease. So I had to go through evisceration eye removal surgery. And if it sounds brutal, well, it should, because it is.
So you said you were blind growing up, or did you have one eye that worked when you were growing up?
So, both eyes worked. I had light perception, so I was a preemie, big time. My original birth date was May 21st. I was born February 25th. Okay.
Wow. That is early.
Yeah, I mean, I weighed 2 pounds and dropped down to 1, and I was 11 inches long.
Wow.
My head was the size of a baseball.
Jeez. And
I wasn't supposed to live. I mean, I was in the hospital off and on for like the first 2 years of my life. Mm-hmm. And but somehow, and up until about 4 years ago, I was as healthy as could be. And then I just I remember it like it was yesterday. It was about 5 years ago, and I'm standing at the sink doing dishes. And you know how sometimes you just, when you're just standing there doing nothing, you kind of touch your face. And I kind of reached up, and I'm like, I felt this bump on my eyelid, almost like a cold sore. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And then by about 48 hours later, it was all red and black, and we thought it was pink eye. And so I just went and got the antibiotic drops, and, I just did that, and, that was that. Well, this is April of 2016. Over the next 8 months, we're now in December. I am so sick that it's all I can do to get out of the bed to go to the bathroom. And my bathroom's just down the hall from my bedroom. Mm-hmm. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, I go back and I sit on the bed, and my heart is pounding like I've ran a marathon.
Oh no.
My eye is throbbing, and I'm one of those guys, like, I'm that man's man type, just crunch up Tylenol and just take it, but mm-hmm. I had to realize, at some point, I'm getting really sick, there's something wrong. And so I went to see the Moran Eye Center. They're the best eye specialists in the country. And they told me, basically, there's medical terms for it, but I'll be damned if I know what any of them are. They said basically what was happening was my left eye was basically decomposing in my socket. Oh. So I didn't have any other choice but to get it removed, and it is brutal. And evisceration eye surgery is when they go in and they hollow out your eyeball, and they put in a 20 millimeter plastic ball inside where the muscles in the eye used to be, and they sew everything up, eyelid included. It is a 1.5 year recovery time.
Wow.
And I remember every single second of it, and it was brutal and painful and horrible.
They couldn't put you under for it?
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, obviously, yeah, they did, but eventually those drugs are going to wear off,
Gotcha.
About 24 hours after I got out of the hospital, my dad drove me out to, he has a house out in Star Valley, Wyoming, out in the middle of nowhere. And he thought it would be best for me to go out there and, have some peace and solitude, Mm-hmm. And, that was just as well, because I was in more pain than I've ever been in my entire life, dude. It was bad. And let it heal for about 4 months until they made me a prosthetic. And but it's not fun, man. It is not fun. And then during that time, I had a cancer scare, lost my left testicle.
Jeez, that was a horrible couple of years there.
Oh man, dude,
you're doing better now, though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Glad to hear that.
Definitely, man. My girl's coming over tonight. We're gonna have our 1 year anniversary on Thursday. God bless her. She's angelic, man. She really is.
That's awesome. I'm glad things are turning around.
Yeah, me too, man. But the one thing that has just been a constant is through all that time, I published that Jaws is a Murder audio drama, and I tried to get a job, and every time I would try to get a job, it's like one brick wall after another. And I mean, I'm doing this hat thing, but it's an apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting paid to do it.
Right.
So it's just like, fuck, man. Like, and then COVID started, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah. Wow. Well, at least you have your health now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure as things are turning around with your health, things will start to turn around with employment opportunities and stuff like that.
Man, I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. I think the thing that a lot of people forget is, with as much bad as there is, there's still so much good, man. There really is. I mean,
without a doubt.
I mean, look at what the internet is doing for all these guys. I mean, like, as a musician, I mean, how do you still do your performances? Like, I mean, do you do Zoom? Do you go on YouTube? What do you do to keep that going? Because I'm sure that's not something you want to just scrap because of this shit.
Yeah, I miss live performances so much. I have moved pretty much completely to live streaming and doing live streams on YouTube. I haven't done a Zoom concert, I don't think, maybe one, but mainly on Facebook and YouTube, and then I do the Coffee and Musics every morning on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Periscope. So I've been really, really focusing on live streaming quite a bit.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed those Coffee and Musics, man. I'm not always awake for those, but...
Thank you. Yeah, those are fun. It's a great way to start the day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Uh-huh. Definitely. And, and that's another passion of mine is coffee, man. Like, I know it sounds kind of silly, but man can't live without coffee. My main liquids in my diet are coffee, water, and beer.
That's what I'm talking about. Add milk to that, and those are mine.
Nice. I'm not really much of a milk drinker personally. Maybe I should be.
Can't get enough of it. I remember when I was a kid, I would drink milk all the time, except my parents would always get 1% milk. Every time we went out to restaurants or diners or whatever, they'd always have the whole milk, right? Because that's just what they had. So I'd always ask for a glass of milk when I was there, knowing that they would have whole milk. And I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I would always ask my mom to get whole milk instead. And she would say no. And it was like a thing for me. Every time I would say, well, when I'm an adult, I'm going to get whole milk all the time. And as soon as I moved down to whole milk, ever since, I drink like 2 gallons a week.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
Oh man, yeah. Oh geez. I will drink milk if there's a bottle of Hershey's chocolate syrup. They call it Mormon chocolate milk out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what, though? It's the best. It's a lot better than that Ovaltine shit. I'm going to tell you. Oh, man. But yeah, yeah, man, I feel you on the milk thing. I need to drink more of it, or at least take calcium pills or something, man, because I'm just not really a big milk guy. I need to be, by God. But
I hear you. Yeah, it's not for everybody, for sure. But it sure is for me.
But I'll tell you what was hard for me was kicking that soda thing.
Oh, yeah? Which soda did you like the most?
So it varies. So it's Coke, root beer, or Pepsi mainly. And I've really cut back on drinking it because fuck, it's not good for you, dude. But it tastes wonderful, doesn't it?
No doubt.
It does. I always I have a thing where if I go to bed at night, there's always a bottle of water on the bedside table because I just as you start to get older, you start to realize, I got to take care of myself. And if I don't, I'm going to fail. Because, when I was 16, it was Little Caesar's Pizza and Flamin' Hot Cheetos and a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And jalapenos on everything.
Oh, I love jalapenos.
Oh, me too, man. Oh, me too. I love it. But I can't eat them as much as I used to anymore. Not because I have real bad acid reflux.
That's the worst. My favorite pepper is the habanero. You probably can't do those either, huh?
I shouldn't, but I do every so often. But I pay for it big time.
You're right.
Nowadays, especially over the past 5-6 years, I don't hardly eat any beef. If it's ground meat, it's either sausage or turkey burger. And I eat a lot of eggs, a lot of potatoes, a lot of vegetables.
Nice.
And if I can get it, wild game, duck, venison, elk.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, man. Well, because my family's big hunters out here, and I know a guy. Him and his daughter, they go out to the swamp and get ducks every October. And I love it, man. I always tell people, if you can get elk, if you can get deer, you'll never go back. And why would you wanna? Yep.
I hear you. I love venison as well. I got my first deer when I was 14. Actually, my only deer. I was with a bow.
Really?
I loved hunting when I was growing up too.
Oh, me too.
After traveling around the country and living in a whole bunch of different places, I'm really ready to get back into it.
Oh man, I tell you, is there hunting out there? Are you in Boston?
You can't hunt in Boston proper, but there's hunting in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Because I always kind of pictured Massachusetts as all city. Have they got open country out there?
Yes.
Oh, yep. Beautiful. Is it all mountain ranges, or is it flat, or what is it out there?
It's pretty flat compared to some of the spots out west. It's more rolling hills rather than sharp mountain ranges. The mountains are a lot older, so there are some mountains, but it's not like Utah.
Okay, yeah.
Mountain ranges that you have out there, those are newer and much sharper.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's beautiful out here though. I've been to California, Nevada, Portland. I spent 3.5 months in Portland.
Cool.
Yeah, man, dude, I loved Portland, and that's a story all in itself, man. I went out there in September 2013. I flew out from Vegas. And stayed out there for 3.5 months. And, man, coming from Utah, that real conservative culture, you go out there and it blows your mind.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it. But it was cool, though, at the same time, and it was beautiful. Oh, my God. It was just green everywhere, and you could smell the flowers and we went hiking out in the woods, man. And I just, oh, man. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, the Northwest is so pretty. I lived in Seattle with my wife for 4 years before we moved out back east. And I know what you mean. It is really, really pretty with the Cascade Mountains up there.
Yeah, the closest I've ever been to Seattle was Portland, but I mean, it's pretty much the same weather, same patterns, ain't it?
Yep.
Man.
Very similar cultures, too.
Yeah, I figured it'd be something like that. 'Cause, out in Seattle, do they have like all those like craft beers, like home breweries and all that out there too?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Oh man, that was
maybe not as many as Portland does, but yeah, they have a lot for sure.
That was probably my favorite more than anything. See, because back when I went out there, you got to remember back then Utah had 3.2% alcohol beer across the whole board. Yeah, I know.
If you wanted to get more, you had to do sidecars and stuff.
You had to go out to Wyoming and sneak it back in, and if the cops caught you, you were fucked.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. I remember my dad one time, he piled us all in the truck. I was like 14, and we drove out to Wyoming, and I said, what the hell are we doing out here? And he's like, oh, hold on. I mean, obviously, I was too young to drink back then, but like, I gotta admire my dad. My dad was a gangster for doing this shit, man. Like, he went into this store, he comes out, great big old fucking 10-gallon keg. Throws it back in the truck. All right, let's go home.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
I'm like, fuck yeah, that is badass. That is badass. But I mean, like, I loved Portland because it had all these beers. I mean, like, you know, you had your Corona, your Bud, all that. But then you had all this shit that I've never even heard of. Mm-hmm. Like 12%, 15, 20% alcohol. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. That's strong stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah. Shit, man. You ain't kidding. I mean, I remember one night we had taken full advantage of the dispensary, and we went to our local Smith's and got a case of beer and took it home. And, you know, me, you know, being the big shot I thought I was, drink beer. Well, I drank about 6 or 8 of them, not thinking. Next thing I know, I'm passed out on the living room floor. Yeah, we ordered a taco pizza and I'm passed out on the living room floor.
No doubt.
Yeah. Oh man, I had too much fun out there, man. I had way too much fun out there. But like in those kind of places, you can, and I'm sure you and Brenna had a ball out in Seattle, man. You guys had to have.
Yeah, no doubt.
Out in those wet climates, man. Like, so I got a buddy of mine that lives out there. He lives out in Washington. He says that out there he doesn't wear his leather-soled boots much. Mm-hmm. He says out there he mostly concentrates on the rubber soles and stuff like that. Like, I mean, how is it for cowboy boots out in that country out there? Like out in the Midwest and North area?
I mean, you don't see them very often, but it is smart to have rubber sole cowboy boots for sure, because it is wet and the snow is nasty. The ice, like, good luck in the wintertime with leather soles.
Oh, boy.
Good luck.
Oh, God.
I remember my first winter in my boulets, and those have a leather sole. I probably fell half a dozen times until I learned my lesson. I went out and got some Abilenes with a rubber sole, and then I was set. But yeah, it's definitely something that you want to wear for the summer. I like leather soles. I prefer them. Just they're lighter. They
definitely
look better, and they are really nice for the summertime.
Yeah, definitely, and they're not so clunky looking. Mm-hmm. Because, like, I'm wearing my Tony Lamas right now, and they got rubber soles, and I mean they're beautiful boots, just gorgeous boots. They're about 14 inches high, you know, tall boots, beautiful.
Wow, yeah.
But in fact, you know what? I got them on right now. Check these out.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff on there?
Yeah. I'm not sure what kind of leather this is up here, but it feels decorative. Like, I think it's like a bull hide or something, like on the shaft there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's nice and thick and sturdy. But
Nice.
I mean, I learned my lesson out here. I just got my Ostrich Boots from West Metal, and this was in December, and I wore them down to my buddy's place, and we were getting pounded. This was around Christmas time, and we were getting pounded with snow, and we were sitting out in the garage. They have one of those houses where the garage is like it's separate from the house, and they got a wood burning stove out there. And as you know, in the winter, that concrete is cold.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting out there, and my feet are just frozen. Like everything else is warm, but my feet are just frozen. And then I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, it's because I'm wearing all leather boots.
And the ostrich is thin. Like, that's a thinner leather that doesn't need to be as thick as some of the other ones. I mean, it's got a pretty nice tensile strength to it. So a lot of times they shave it down so it's thinner. And I like ostrich for the summertime because it is so thin. But yeah, during the winter, ostrich is going to be real cold.
I froze my butt off, man. I was like, oh, man, I never again. Now it's starting to warm up a little bit, but out here you want to wear rubber soles until at least April.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because you don't know when it's going to snow. I mean, fuck, it could snow tomorrow.
Yep. In March and April, they always have something in store for the states up here in the Northeast too. You never can be too sure about what happens.
No. Do you have a go-to pair of boots, like a pair that you always wear? They live by your bed. They're beat up. Like, they're the boots.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's the Boulay 7031s.
Nice.
That was my first pair of boots.
Really?
They're nasty now. They've been cracked. They're cracked. I spilled gas on them in like 2009. They've been on 5 tours. Music tours, so they've been all over. 6 resoles. Those are the boots for me.
God, man. So for me, it's my Ariats, Roper soles, Roper heels, rubber.
Is it the Heritage Roper?
I don't know what they are. I can go grab them. You can look. I'm not sure what they are. Hold on one sec, brother. Let me go grab those real quick. These things right here.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, those right there. I'm not sure what make they are. Does it say on the sole?
I can't see anything. It kind of looks like the cowhands that I just got in, but a little bit different with the leather that they've chosen on there. But yeah, that's nice. Cool.
Yeah,
those gotta be comfy.
Oh, these are way nice. They have the mesh on the inside. They have the cloth insole. I mean, they're super nice. They're they got like I said, they got the Roper heel and that rubber sole right there. Like these are my boots, man. Like these are warm. These are nice. These are like, I mean, I'll wear those anywhere.
Nice. They actually look like an Everlight with that sole.
Yeah, I think like I said, I'm not sure what make they are.
Yeah, I think they might be an Area Everlight model of some sort.
Are they?
That's my guess. They
That's
got the sole. They got that sole on them.
yeah, and I love those soles. I do. I love those soles.
How old are they?
I got them in September.
Okay, nice.
September. The boots that I got from Greg. Oh, dude, those would be ones you'd want to check out too. Those elk Tony Llamas. Those are from the 70s.
Oh, vintage.
Yeah. Now these are retired. I do not wear these anymore. Mm-hmm. Partly because I suspect they are a B or a C width because they're a little bit more narrow. But I got these from Greg and so proud of those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, I don't know what make those are, but Greg told me that those saw everything. He got those in the early 70s. I mean, like, if you look at the soles here, I think these are the original soles, too.
Wow, yeah. Sweet.
I'm not sure what size they are, though. They probably make them different now than they did back then, don't they? I mean...
Yeah, I think they are making them a little bit differently now. Whether they go a little bit more wide on the Ds or a little bit more narrow D widths just to fit more people. But those the old sizes, I really like the 12Bs, the old 12Bs. Jeez,
yeah,
they fit me like a glove. It's just the perfect fit.
Yeah, those old style retro, like I remember growing up seeing my grandpa's boots, and back then, I mean, I didn't know anything about makes or models or anything, but they were just so good looking, man, and rustic and rugged, you know. And I got this pair of Tony Llamas from Boot Barn. It was that sale they were having over Christmas, you remember? And they sold them for like 78% off or something like that. They got them for like $60.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be posting about that.
Yeah. So I got them. Okay, and I went down to get them, and I was disappointed.
Oh, why?
Well, I mean, I got them. You know, I took them home, but when I think of a Tony Llama, I think of something tall and rough and tough leather. You know, these were slick and smooth, and it almost felt synthetic, and it almost felt like. You know that smell you get when you walk into a shoe store?
Yeah.
You know, like
kind of that fake plasticky smell.
Yeah, it was like that.
Yep. I know what you mean. I felt the same kind of disappointment when I tried a newer Tony Llama, the Patron Bomber Brown. And that was a tall boot with a roper heel and a roper toe, but it just didn't feel right. Like they definitely didn't focus on the insole. They had a removable insole. They didn't have the hard leather like they usually did in the past. And it just felt like they were slacking a little bit. Like they didn't put as much energy into it as they had in their previous models. So I feel like they might be going downhill a little bit. I mean, hope they come back.
They gotta be.
But they were bought by like Berkshire Hathaway now, right? They're a part of that whole. Justin and all those big brands now are under one roof, and I feel like once that happens, then some of the quality goes downhill.
Yeah, because when I think of Tony Llama, okay, and I bought these ones. These are the ones I'm wearing, and look at those soles, man. That's a Tony Llama, okay. That right there is a Tony Llama.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That is what I think of when I think of a Tony Llama. Not like a slick, you know, something that smells like it came from Kmart kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was, you know, and I bought these in like May of last year. You know,
that's too bad.
So, you know, these aren't that old, and I mean, like I got them and I took them home, and it said they were a 10D. Here's the thing that really kills me. So they said they were a 10D, right?
Yeah.
And I put them on, and they were narrow as shit.
Really?
Like, yeah, like they were squeezing my feet. It was tight.
Huh.
And I'm like, wait a minute. They said it was a D. And I checked my receipt and everything, and it was a D, but it felt like a B width.
Wow.
Because it was so narrow, you know, but I didn't want to take them back because, you know, like I had waited weeks for these boots because they were back ordered. So I had to sit and wait. And then when I got them, I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to take them back. So I did an old hatter's trick. I got some steam, heated up my old coffee pot, my old percolator, got some steam going, and stretched them.
There you go, with the hot steam.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stretched them. And they fit perfect now. But I don't understand why they couldn't have just done that in the first place. It's like, how come I had to do that? Just like, so mad. And then Wes, he's got some Dan posts for me. They're a cherry, what did he say? Black cherry lizard Dan post.
Ooh, nice.
Now, I don't know.
I saw those on his Instagram.
Is that the same ones?
Maybe, or he posts them in the group.
Because those are the ones I'm getting. And
nice.
I'm not.
Congrats.
So I'm not sure what color is cherry. What is that?
Black cherry. It's like a black with a little bit of a reddish hue added to it. So it's not quite black, but it's not quite brown. It's it's a really nice look, sort of like a burgundies kind of deal. Ooh. Like a really dark red.
Nice. I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it looks great. It's a great dress boot, and it looks really good with lizard too, for sure.
So that wouldn't be something that you would go wearing around in the mud and the shit and that.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh man.
More of a dress boot for sure.
Yeah, man. I saw those Caymans at Smith and Edwards. You know, the ones I posted back in January. Those Cayman Tony Llamas. Mm-hmm. That dude ended up bailing on me. He never got him for me.
Too bad.
I know. Dude, I saw him. Spiritual experience right out the door.
That's what I'm talking about.
I saw him and I was like, oh my God, I gotta have him. Oh man, I'd do anything to have him. And nothing. But
oh, that's too bad.
I know. Yeah, I guess.
I love the Cayman.
Dude, they're sexy. They are. They are sexy. How do they break in? How does Cayman break in? Does it break in real nice?
I would have to say that the tail is a lot harder to break in than the belly. Belly breaks in nice. It definitely is softer than the Cayman tail. The tail does take a lot more work. I think also because you also have some little bones in there still in the skin.
Yeah.
But I like belly better. It's a little bit softer, and it does break in a little bit better. And it feels nice. It kind of breaks in along the lines in between the tiles on the boot, and it wears real nice. It wears real nice in my experience. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Cayman because it's sort of the cheaper kind of reptile, cheaper kind of crocodile. If you're going for that crocodile look, the Cayman is the lowest quality a lot of times, instead of like Nile crocodile or just American alligator. But I like Cayman. It's a good entry point, I feel like, into dress boots if you want to do something different than lizard or ostrich. Mm-hmm. I haven't had a problem with it.
Yeah, man, I saw those and I was I was in love, man. I really was. And they were the narrow square toe. It wasn't the wide square toe.
Yep, that's a good look.
I'll tell you what, man, they were beautiful. They were, and I don't know if they were the belly or the tail. If I had to take a wild guess, I think it was probably the belly because along the top of the toe shaft, I forget what that's called, the instep. Mm-hmm. Along the top of the instep, the scales rose higher. And then on the sides where your toes and the sides of your feet were, the scales got a little bit more fine instead of, rising up a little bit more. So I suspect that was the belly. I think they were Cayman bellies, and they were beautiful. They really were. And I got to see, I went to Boot Barn back in January, and I got to see all different hides. They had, it's some kind of fish. I don't remember what it's called.
The Piruku?
Yes. It kind of feels like leaves, kind of like dried leaves, kind of has that consistency. Mm-hmm. It's kind of peely. Mm-hmm. I didn't care for that. I thought that was kind of ugly myself. Mm-hmm. And then they had shark, and they had elephant. And elephant was the one that was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think elephant was going to feel like that. But it kind of had it was raised, kind of, like it had lines and ridges, kind of like corduroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt kind of like that. And then shark was like that too, kind of similar to elephant. And then they had stingray.
Nice. Yeah.
And those were good looking. I'm not going to lie, those were good looking. Them stingray boots, I'm like, woohoo. Man, that is gorgeous, good looking boots, man.
Yeah, stingray is a good look. It's tough. They can't even when they cut stingray in the factory, or when the bootmakers are cutting it, you can't even cut it with a knife. It's so tough. They have to use special scissors to cut the stingray because the outside of it is like these little bones, basically, like little calcium deposits on the outside.
Ooh.
So it's really, really tough, and sometimes people don't like it for that reason too, because it's apparently really tough to break in.
That's kind of what I suspected. I'm thinking, man, it's got to be hell on the foot to break in them some of you.
You definitely want to make sure you have the right size before you go stingray. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then they had python. Python was good looking too, but I've honestly steered clear of snakes. And I got a buddy of mine, Ryan. He loves his snakes. He's out in Seattle. Guys telling you about. He loves his snakes, but
yeah.
I personally would steer clear of them only because the scales tend to peel off, from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta take good care of them.
Yeah, and I had a pair of snakes when I was a kid, but I suspect it was a print. I mean, come on, nobody's going to get a 10-year-old kid real snake skins, right?
Right.
But, I mean, they were good looking for a print, I'll tell you that.
Nice.
But,
that's what matters.
Yeah, oh man, dude.
For a 10-year-old, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any hats yourself, or do you just do boots?
I have hats. I haven't gotten into them, really. I just kind of wear them when the need calls for it. I have a straw hat for when I'm working outside in the summertime, and I also have a leather hat that is better for winter, or sort of like fall or late winter, early spring, just because it is really, really warm to wear any other time. And in the middle of winter, it doesn't really cover the ears, so
yeah.
I kind of go to other hats because it gets really cold up here. So I don't wear that one very often. This week I've been wearing it, and it's nice to wear it when I can, but I haven't really ever gotten into it.
If you're going to go for like a winter hat, I think the best option I would suggest would be felt. Mm-hmm. Like a beaver or a rabbit.
Nice.
Because where I work over at Staker Custom Hats, the most expensive felt that we do is pure beaver. But the big advantage to beaver is that it's completely waterproof.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can like drip water on it. It can get rained on. It just roll right off.
That's sweet.
I have a hat hanging on the wall up there. It's wool. I think it's mostly wool, maybe a little bit of rabbit in there. And I wore it out in the rain once, just not thinking. I just, I was going out for a cigarette and I wanted to wear a hat. Come back in, hang it back up. By the next day, I get it down and it's all warped and bent. And I was kind of mad. I'm not gonna lie, because I paid
Did you fix it?
Yeah. But I paid like $300 for it.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that sucks. I'm just glad I work in a hat shop.
Right.
I'm just glad it wasn't straw, because if it was straw, like, dude, like that would be the end of your hat. Mm-hmm. I mean,
when I was in Arizona, I went through so many straw hats. I loved the straw hats when I was in Arizona.
Well, yeah, considering you're in the desert and it's like scorching for like 9 months out of the year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh man, I haven't been to Arizona in years. I haven't been to Arizona since I was maybe 5, but I do remember it being very hot.
Yep.
That is.
Lived there for 3 years.
Did you?
Nice. It's my favorite state.
What part?
I've ever been to. I lived in Phoenix, but we went all around it. Arizona, from Flagstaff, Cottonwood, Sedona, Bisbee, Wilcox. We went all over. So I love Arizona. It's such a great state.
Man, it really is. I only went in Phoenix, and I think we stopped. There was a little town, I can't remember exactly. It's like right on the Arizona-Utah border. It's like right outside St. George. You know where St. George is, right? You know, you've been through there.
I played a couple shows in St. George.
Yeah, it's that first town you come to. You go through St. George, you go right over the border. I can't remember what it is. Speaking of St. George, so I met this custom boot maker. His name is Don Roundy. And he told me that if I sent him those lizard boots that I've got, he could fix them brand new and send them back. And from what I've heard, you know, once lizard cracks, it's done. That's my understanding, right?
It might. I mean, he's a custom boot maker, so I'm sure he knows some tricks. It might show that he fixed it along the crack or the rip or tear. I have seen some custom boot makers fix cracks and things like that, and it's definitely noticeable that they fixed it with the treatment. Like, you can still see the line, but it definitely looks better for sure.
Yeah,
it's manageable. I would say that I don't know. I would hope that he would be able to fix it like brand new. That'd be really impressive.
It really would.
Yeah, I would like to see that for sure. But every time I see fixes like that, it's kind of noticeable that you can see where it was repaired.
Yeah, and I mean, he told me that I could send him the boots, and for $90 he would do it. But to be honest with you, I don't know if I would really want to put the money into it. I may as well just get a new pair from Wes, because not only that, but they got some nails sticking up on the footbeds on the inside, a little bit. Yeah. And I think the fact is they're just old. It was kind of neat to have them for a minute, but I think I'll just get a new pair. I'm not going to spend the money. And I really went over it in my head. I was like, do I want to do this? Do I want to? And then I just thought, no. It was kind of one of those things I kicked around for about a month. But I don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a special pair of boots, I wouldn't see any reason not to, like if you've had it for a while, but since they're new to you, you really don't have any tie to them, I can understand why it's like, I'll pass this time and just get a different pair of lizard boots. Yeah,
so I got them, they came from Mapleton, Utah. I got them on eBay. And when I got them, they came in a box, okay? And the first thing I noticed about them was they were dirty, and the shafts were smashed flat. And
wow, that's not good.
Yeah, and like you can tell they'd been worn. They'd had miles on them, like right away. And then they had a big old huge crease in the left toe, and like I said, it was neat to have them for a minute, but no.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, it would have been different if they had been mine from the start.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Then I think I would have put more money into them, but because I didn't, and because they just, I have a buddy, Tom Bennett. He's another musician. He's a lot like you. He's a traveling musician. Goes all over Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, all in places. Good dude. I think I added him to the group a while back. He does custom leather work and outlaw shit leatherworks, I think is what he calls it. I share a few of their posts in the group sometimes. He's really good. He makes patches, makes hats. He's been doing holsters, belts lately.
Nice.
And what I been thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to just give those boots to him, and he can just cut them up, make some lizard shit out of them.
Cool.
You know, and I'm thinking, well, I mean, you know, why not? You know, it'd be kind of neat, you know, and it's not like I really care much about him anyway.
There you go. Nice wallet or whatever. That sounds like a good deal.
So, I mean, you know, just, you know, take them, cut them up, you know, make some money off them. Because, I mean, dude, I guarantee you, yeah, those boots are cracked. Yeah, you know, they may not be worth anything anymore. But the leather itself, that exotic leather, that's got to still be worth something, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And it would look really good as, if he's making belts and holsters, it'd probably look really good as inlay to some of those things, too.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, you're not going to get a lot of leather off of those boots as far as exotic. You're only going to get as much as the boot has on there. Mm-hmm. But it'd look damn good for patches, or like if you wanted to make a wallet or something like that, you know, just blend it with some cowhide or pig hide or something.
Cool, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And that's not really my area of expertise, but damn, it'd look good, though, I'll tell you what.
For sure.
It'd look good.
See, I gotta go. And it's been great talking to you,
man. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, man. We got to do it more often. Thank you so much
for taking this time. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
As do I, my friend. As do I.
Awesome. Let me know when the podcast comes out, and I'll share a link.
All right, man. Sounds good. And we will talk to you soon, my friend.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Peace,
Take care.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.